Hello, this is Nikki in Niagara coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada. And welcome to Throwback Thursday, where we take a look at art books that have been sitting on my shelves for years and years. Today we're going to look at the complete guide to altered imagery, mixed media techniques for collage, altered books, artist journals, and more by Karen Michel, I think it is, or it could be Michel. You can see it there. This book I got because of the techniques that it teaches you to actually alter real, actual photographs, ones that were printed or are printed at the photographers. Not ones that you print out yourself, not any kind of modern day type of photography, but how to actually take old photographs and alter them, or new photographs and alter them. So that's why I got it, and there's a lot of interesting techniques in here that I tried. It also deals with some other forms of imagery as well. And let's get right into it. First, we have a page here that is giving us a little hint of what is ahead for us. Lovely piece of work right there. You would not even know that there was a photograph involved, but this right here is an altered photograph. Table of contents, we've got 5 chapters. Altered imagery using photography, altered imagery using your computer, altered imagery from found sources, altered imagery using printmaking techniques, and finally a project gallery. I really like this artist's style. It's a little bit grungy, and the type of thing that I like and that I do when I'm feeling at my best. So we have an introduction, and here we see a photograph that's been saturated. Chapter 1, Altered Imagery Using Photography, and we have a gallery here of some work. And here. So first of all, we talk about 35mm photography. That is the old-fashioned kind when we had the handheld cameras, and which our ancestors used. So first of all, she talks about using sandpaper and mark making, using tools like awls or other sharp objects to scratch the surface of the photograph, and same with the sandpaper to rub off all the glossiness. That's what we can tell has been done here. These sections are very much sandpapered. This also works on postcards. I tried it on there. And then she's painted over top using doesn't say, I can't remember. I think we used watercolors or water-soluble crayons. I remember doing that. And I just absolutely love these pictures. Here we have the original picture, and then here she has it after sanding and scraping. I love door imagery, and I like both of these photos. Now we're using bold markers and rubbing plates. The same photo has been used. Rubbing plates here, and oh, you put the rubbing plate underneath of the photograph and then you sand it off, which leaves the design here. I imagine that would work with embossing folders. Never tried it, but it's just an idea. Okay, here we are. Now we take the original photograph and we sand it up and mark it up Get rid of the glossy, I want to say emulsion, but I'm not sure if that's the correct word. And then now your photograph will take paint, and she suggests using watercolors, paints, and markers. And again, we have a sanded down picture, and this is what it looks like after we add color to it. Adding gel pens and markers. And here we just have using several effects all together. This one right here is done in the reverse matter, where she has kept the main focal image of the hands holding the book, and she's done all the altering to the background here. That looks really cool. Okay, now we can use chemicals to alter as well. First of all, she talks about using bleach. And if you put bleach on a photograph, it will interact with the colors and change the composition of the photograph. Here she says to dip it into bleach. 50% bleach and 50% water. I think if you used 100% bleach, it might just like disintegrate your photograph. Now we use a bleach resist, and here she uses wax crayons on it before she puts it into the bleach, and we get this picture right here. And here you can do the same thing using stickers. Putting stickers on the background and then bleaching it. Using a bleach pen. I never had much success with bleach pens. I don't know if I was just not buying a good quality pen or what, but it looks really cool if you could get it to come out this way with a bleach pen. Liquid Drano. And this is doing a transfer using Liquid Drano. That I have not tried. I don't get into using really strong chemicals. It's just not my thing. And here she has combining all the techniques that she's taught you so far and ending up with a mixed media page that includes an altered photograph. And now we get to Polaroid photography, and I've never done any of this because I've never had any Polaroids, but now that we have Polaroids again, it is a possibility to do this with new photos. And yeah, I was using the right word, emulsion. Emulsion manipulation. So what is she using here? Just a damp paper towel before it gets fully exposed. And here she's removed the white tape. Again, removing the white tape. And here she's taken a bunch of photographs, Polaroid photographs, which she has altered and made a mixed media portrait out of it. Well, not portrait, but... And then the next section I'm just going to go through quickly because I'm not interested in digital art at all. But this is using your computer to alter imagery. I think we're all pretty much... I never said what year this book was written. 2005. Okay, so this is 2005, and I did buy this new at the time. This section is probably quite outdated because we're all familiar with digital photography programs now and what they can do, and you can buy filters and use apps and whatever to alter your photography. So we'll just flip through here looking at pictures, and I'll mention anything if I feel it needs be. Talks about using a scanner on for your original photos. This is all image editing software. Then she tells you about what you can do with printers, inkjet, and probably laser over the page, and a coffee machine. So that was a quick section anyways. I remember this picture. Is it on the front? No, it's not. But this is what this lady did. That's what I remember with this artist. She would make these birds and then collage a human eye in them. That was her thing back then in 2005. I remember looking at this picture a lot. I really like it. I'm not one for using animals in my art, but yeah, birds are one of the ones that I do use. Okay, now how to alter imagery from found sources. Magazine collage. This is obviously taking the various body parts together and building a character. Covering it with gel medium, and then you're able to go back in with gel pens. Ah, yes, here. I like these. Okay, now she talks about creating your collage background. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not much to say about that. But these are both really lovely pieces. I love how the frame has been altered and everything, too. Very colorful. Okay, cutting out paper chains and putting them into your work. And here she uses a newspaper, and she cuts out a paper chain of a tree in a house, and a tree in a house, different ones, and keeps going on. I think that is a excellent, excellent technique. And you know, if you can't draw, I'm thinking, and this might be something that I would try if I remember to, is to use a stencil and put it up to the fold in your paper. So fold your paper several times so you get a nice big long paper chain, and use a stencil and then cut it out. My mind is rolling. I hope the glare isn't too bad. My choice is to either have shadows or glare. I'll hold it like that. Looks pretty good. Okay, and here she's talking about using staples and cutting out basic forms to make imagery. Here she's cut her bird out of a newspaper and put her human eye on it. Laying traditional art media over a collage. She's using gel glaze pens and gel markers, acrylic paints. Yeah, this is just mixed media that we do today. Taking an old image and an old familiar. We all know that this is the Venus, I forget the name of it, Willendorf, the Venus of Willendorf, very familiar statue. Alter it. Here she talks about how to use a background. This is magazine paper that's been painted, and may possibly have had this as the original picture in the magazine, and she's collaged a bird out of a magazine page. Working on a magazine page and gessoing over the face and repainting it as a portrait on your own. That has been around for ages and is done quite often. Integrating found objects. So here she's got nails. This looks like a piece of leather. And she has a whole article here on working with found objects and bringing everything that we've got together. I really, really like her art. I'm going to look her up after I'm done this to see what she's up to now, if she's still out there. And this. And this is, I like this. This style just really gets me. I've done a bit in this way myself. There used to be a girl on Flickr called Curbside Treasures, and her work was all like this. She usually had some green in it. Here she's using trash. She calls it refuse. Using old books and bad photographs. This is, altering photographs is great to do with all those old family pictures that we have that have a thumb in the middle of the page, in the middle of the picture, like this. Those ones. And all the ones of the dashboard in the car. Okay, so she's doing transfers now, using an inkjet. Here she says, once you're done with a transfer, use the remains into the back of your collage. Printing your image on mailing labels. These are return, well, they're either address labels or return address labels. Can't tell from the size here. But an image was printed on it, so it's in 3 sections. It looks really cool. And now we get to inkjets transfer and how to do those. This is great. I just love this. Love the grunginess of it. It's just fantastic. Wish I could feel it. And this is working on a larger scale. She's using butcher's wax. Okay, so printmaking techniques. Now this is probably before the invention of the jelly plate. So let's see what it says. Okay, using acetate as a negative. These negatives were printed on an inkjet printer and trimmed to size. That's cool. I don't know if I could do that or not. Gum dichromate printing process. Now this is something that you need to get from a photography supply store, it says. It's a chemical, and I'm not going to read much more on that. So this uses transparency film, negative, and gum dichromate. So there's quite a few chemical processes in here if you're interested in those. Again, this is using that chemical gum dichromate and negatives. Okay, and this was the big thing that I remember that was happening in the early 2000s, is that people were making linoleum prints using linoleum blocks and carving out the block and using the block to make prints. So it's basically like making your own rubber stamps, except that it has been used for quite a long time, that people did the carving on these linoleum printing plates rather than like rubber or foil. Now here she talks about how to transfer image onto linoleum. She says it's stiffer and less porous than rubber. So here we have an inkjet copy, the carved linoleum printing block. Here's the print using the blue black printing ink. And this is an inkjet transfer of that image. Whoa! This is getting technical here. This is not stuff I've done, nor will I. But very interesting what you can do if you've got the skills and the patience to learn these things. Okay, monoprints. I mean, we all know what a monoprint is. You do something on here and you flip it over and put it on here. Your picture comes out back to front, but that's a mono print. And the reverse technique, where she's taken the paint off and then put it down, same with here. And this is using acetate. Very cool. Here she's used this photograph. I have tons of acetate. Let's see, I'm just reading it. So sketch the photograph onto the acetate with a pencil. Oh, you have to read that more further. This looks like something I could do. Okay, mono printing, yes, I can do this. Here we have mono printing from a photo. This little photo of the baby here turns out to be this. This is amazing. Now here she's mono printed over a photo. Okay, fun ideas for developing your creative self. She has 12 activities for you to do. Here's one. I'm not into horoscopes, but I've always wondered how I could incorporate them into my art. But it says, save horoscopes from newspapers for interesting words to use in your art. And that's true. If you took a phrase out of one of those, they'd be interesting. And here we have the project gallery. And this has a bunch of different artists showing their work that includes altered imagery. I'm not going to, I'll just read what it is and who the artist is. Image Transfers and Fabric Collage by Leslie Riley. This right here is Monica Rife. This I absolutely loved. I love this. That's gorgeous. God Bless the Child by Sarah Fishburne. And this is a board book, children's board book. Each artist gives a tip. Yeah, each artist gives a tip. So this is always the good, fun part of these books, is the galleries. At the back. Okay, now here we have Claudine Helmuth, and I have her book where she teaches this technique that she did with the Moppets, and yeah, this taught me how to draw a person's body onto a face. I will be forever grateful for that information from Claudine. Fashion as a Career by Dana Gentile. Shirley End Sachs. Here we are. This is just absolutely fantastic. And I did a lot of this type of background stuff here with the stencils and the dripping and the blocks of paint and whatever. It's very, very Lynn Perella. This is very similar to Lynn Perella's work. Wonder if she's got one in here. So this is awesome. I love this. I need to go over, like, I need to reread this book. Lynn Whipple. And here she's used an old baby sock. And this is what we would have called a shrine. It's in a box. Michel Ward. She was a very famous artist at this time. This is not what she was famous for. She was famous for putting portraits of people on a print background, like newsprint or whatever. This is similar, except she's used doors. And I love the imagery here. And found objects and stuff. Right down here it shows the photograph that she started with. Whoops, I hope I wasn't at a screen for too long there. Lisa Renner. This is a transfer collage. Transparency film image transfer. Here's another shadow box by Judy Reich. Ah, here we have it, Lynn Perella. Yay! So here she has taken one image and altered it in a whole bunch of different ways. These are toner transfers and also a paper batik technique. Love, love, love. Those are tags. I like art that is repetitive like that, different. Julia Coles. Now this is deep, dark stuff. I love this. This photograph has been completely altered except for that face. Really nice. I like that. I haven't looked at this book in a while. I'm glad I kept it though. Really enjoying looking at this work. This is pretty traditional. Piece of vintage mixed media art. Juliana Coles. Nina Bagley. Now here we have a sculpture, an assemblage. I would love to do this, but I just don't work in 3D. Like I can like look at pieces and think, oh, that would look cool altered and stuff, but the thought of actually getting down and dirty and doing it, just can't see myself doing it. It'd be like gardening. I love the idea of having a garden, flowers and stuff, but the idea of actually digging in dirt does not thrill me. All I can think about is that how messed up that would make my nails. So this is Tracy Bunkers. Tracy Bunkers. Now we have some visual journals. We have Tracy Bunkers. Oh yeah, both of these are her. So these are visual journals. So this type of thing has been done forever. We're getting a look at what it looked like in 2005. Carlo Certus. I remember taking inspiration from this picture too. Really like all the images in the background that are centered around the same colors. Anne Grick. That's weird. I like it, but I don't think I would make anything like that. And we come to the end, and then we have a list of resources, which will probably mostly be out of date by this time, and the contributing artists and their websites, which are probably all defunct by now. That's a big picture of the one that we saw earlier by Michel Ward. Yeah, like that. Okay, and we learn a little bit about the author, Karen Michel, I'm going to call her. And there we go. This is definitely a book worth purchasing if you are into using chemicals and really getting into the nitty-gritty chemical altering type of stuff. There's some great stuff in here. It's also good if you just don't know what to do with a photograph, how to alter it. This will tell you, and some very interesting techniques for image transfers that are not the usual ones. So yeah, definitely a good book for some unusual stuff, and the art is just extremely inspiring. Now this book was published by Corey Books, and they advertise 2 other books: Altered Books, Collaborative Journals, and Other Adventures in Bookmaking. That sounds good. And the other one is Lynn Perella's. journals and sketchbooks, which I have, and we will take a look at one of these Throwback Thursdays. Thank you for joining me, and if you made it this far, please give me a thumbs up, leave comments, and if you could, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. It definitely needs subscribers. With the new changes in YouTube's rules, I would have qualified for monetizing, but now I don't because I don't have enough subscribers. So please subscribe if you feel that you want to, and I will see you next time or next Thursday for a Throwback Thursday. The book one more time: The Complete Guide to Altered Imagery by Michel. I will leave a link down below. It may be, good chances are, that it's out of print, but it should be you should easily be able to find it from third-party sellers on Amazon. But I'll leave the link for you. Thanks. Bye-bye.